Hello everybody, welcome back to AJBYGO. Today we are going to look at my zombie control deck profile. I have been playing this since about YCS Chicago, so let's see, that was February of this year. We're already in October, so about 8 months now I've spent working on perfecting this. I've topped several locals, I went to several regionals and did alright. I've bubbled on quite a few of them. But I've won 3 total win-a-mats with this as well. So we're just going to look at how I thought a control would be built, because zombies have actually been getting stronger as the more ban lists come out. We've gotten stuff like 3 Super Poly back, and we've got stuff like 3 Judgment back. So any control-based variant has actually been benefiting very much, and I'm going to show you my deck list. Alright, so first we start off with the normals. We have our 3 Sharanui Solitaires, followed off by the 3 Unizombies. Very, very standard for zombie decks. Just absolutely incredible. You know, Tribute Solitaire, summon Unizombie, send one from your hand, send one from the deck. So this deck falls to hand traps, and I'm going to show you how I get around that, but we'll get to that when we get to it. 2 of the Doom King Ballardrock. That is an absolutely insane card. If you don't know what Ballardrock does, it says, during the standby phase, if a face-up card is in the field zone and this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card in defense position. You can only use this effect of Doom King Ballardrock once per turn. Once per chain, when a zombie monster except Doom King Ballardrock activates its effect except during the damage step, quick effect, you can apply one of these effects, but you cannot apply that same effect again this turn. You can either negate that effect or banish one monster from the field or grave. So, in a simplified game state, Doom King will summon off of any field spell. I take advantage of that so much. My opponent leaves area 0 in their field spell zone. Ballardrock will summon itself. And it's a free negate and a free banish, so it is 2 essential disruptions in 1 card. Next we have 2 Glow Up Bloom. Glow Up Bloom, if it's sent to the graveyard, it banishes itself for cost, and you can add Doom King to your hand, or if Zombie World's on the field, you can summon him straight from deck. So if you start with a Zombie World or a Banshee in hand, you can summon Unizombie, get the Zombie World onto field, send this from deck, and immediately have a Doom King with negations ready. Then we have 2 Gozuki. Pretty simple, just a Foolish Burial for zombie types. When it's sent to the grave, you can actually banish another zombie in your graveyard and summon one from your hand. It's come up in quite a few occasions. Yeah, then we have the 2 Necro Banshees. Another card that it actually has the effect that zombie worlds on the field cannot be targeted, cannot be destroyed by card effects, and neither player can target it with card effects. So on the field, it can protect your zombie worlds, and it's a quick effect. You can banish it and put Zombie World on the field. It banishes itself for cost and activates it directly from deck. So it's absolutely crazy. And then just to round off the monsters, we have 3 Ash Blossom. Actually has a little more synergy in this deck than with most, because it is a zombie effect. So if you have Doom King on field and you can Ash something your opponent controls, you can chain Ballardrock and banish a monster in on their field or grave. It's pretty good. Alright, I don't know when I'm going to cut this in, but I actually have Mizuki in the deck too. I accidentally left it in the other deck, the deck I'll be playing this weekend at the Pro Play Tour in Columbus and the Columbus Regionals. But yeah, I accidentally left the Mizuki in there. So yeah, that rounds off the monsters. Next we have our spells. We have the 3 zombie worlds. Of course, it's a zombie deck. This actually has interesting synergy because it comes up a lot. I won one of the win-a-mats this way because while all monsters on the field and in both graveyards become zombie monsters, neither player can tribute summon monsters except zombie monsters. So if they don't have Diagram, they can't really get their engine flowing, and they can't really pop their back row because they can't tribute, so they're kind of stuck. Next we have the 3 Pot of Extravagance. That's probably my favorite inclusion in the entire deck. I absolutely love it. I've noticed that a lot of zombie decks tend to have filler spaces in their extra deck. Random synchro monsters. Not really random, but I found as time went on I never used them. Like, you know, Omega, the Red Eyes Synchro, and, you know, a bunch of Link monsters that I would never go into either. So I just found it better to get some draws because in theory, this deck fails to hand traps hard. Like a single Ash or a single Effect Veiler on a Unizombie will stop your turn. In most cases, because I don't play any dangers in here. This is pure zombie control. So I wanted to either get 2 extra draws to hope to draw into a Called by the Grave or Instant Fusion, or they Ash this and I can continue on my plays. Next we have the 1 Monster Reborn. Super versatile card, why not? This weekend I revived someone's Dingirsu to break apart their own board. 2 Instant Fusions. We have 2 targets in the extra deck for this. Super great card, also a good extender if you need it. MVP of the deck, 3 Super Poly, because zombies have the most generic monster you can possibly make, just requires 2 zombie monsters. So yeah, you can abuse this card pretty hard. And then the 3 Called by the Graves to finish up our spells. You know, simple stop Ash. So impermanence will hurt this deck a lot, but that's something that I think hurts everyone. You can't really negate it. So next we have our traps. We're only running 8 of them. We have Rivalry of Warlords. Fun interaction with Zombie World is you can put Zombie World on the field, get this face up, and then they're locked into only being able to summon and control zombie monsters. So most of the time you can just either stall out until you can generate enough advantage to win, or your opponent just scoops. Then we have the 2 Swallow Slash. A lot of people don't know what this card does. So you tribute 1 zombie monster and target 2 cards on the field as cost. Then you destroy them, and you can banish a Sharinui monster from your deck. A lot of people tend to run the one that if it's banished, you can pop another card. I ran it for a while, and it was really, really good, but I wanted a nice 40 card, but I think this is up to 41 now with the inclusion of the 2nd Bloom. And to finish off the traps, any control deck should be playing 3 Solemn Judgment, because why is this card back at 3? I mean, you could say the same thing for Super Poly. Like, why is it back at 3? It's absolutely crazy that they would do that. So, now we will move on to the extra deck. Our extra deck starts out pretty simple. We have the 3 Vampire Sucker. Absolutely amazing card. You can actually... A lot of people don't know her effects. So, if you would tribute a monster for a tribute summon, you can tribute to zombie monsters your opponent controls even though you do not control them. So that's actually come up once or twice, not a whole lot. But the other ones is where you start generating mass advantage. You can target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your opponent's field in defense position, but it becomes a zombie monster. And if a zombie monster is special summoned from either graveyard, draw 1 card. So with Ballardrock, you can summon him from the graveyard and immediately draw an extra card. So if you started with 5 cards in hand and you end with Vampire Sucker and 2 back row and a Zombie World, say one of them's a Super Poly and you need a card, well, you just drew into your discard fodder for Super Poly and it's live turn 1. Then we have 1 Boral Sword. You can actually... I tend to turn 2 Boral Sword quite often, because once you get Vampire Sucker and Doom King on the board, that's already 3, so if you just normal summon once, so if it's like a Solitaire or a Unizombie, you're really set up. And now we have our 2 instant fusion targets. We have 1 offensive, 1 defensive essentially. We have the Thousandizer Strict, and we have the Millenniumizer Strict. Millenniumizer Strict is an amazing card, because once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can target 1 effect monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard and equip that target to this card. This card gains the attack and defense equal to the equipped monsters, and monsters with that equipped name cannot attack, and also their effects on field and activated effects are negated. So if they Ash, you can actually chain this and attach it, so it can negate Ash. It's a lovely card. 3 of the guy I was talking about earlier, Draco. It is a hell of a card name. Well, there's Mega Fleet, my bad. Dragon, Necro, Nether Soul, Dragon. It just requires 2 zombie monsters. Yeah, it's a beat stick and its effects aren't great, but it's super easy board clearance. Yep, then we have a bunch of one-ofs. We have Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon for the Orcus. We have Salamangrate Violet Chimera for Salamangrates. We have Predaplant Drago Stapelia for the Thunder Dragons. And then we have the new Predaplant. We have Predaplant that with a super long name. A lot of people don't know what this card does. It just requires 3 dark monsters, and its effect is when your opponent special summons a monster from their extra deck while you control this fusion summon card, you can negate the summon and destroy the monster. So I actually negated a mermaid summon with that, with this, because he drew Ibly, but because I had already super polyed all of his stuff away. So that was an interesting game. And then to round it off, we have the 2 Starving Venom Fusion Dragons. Alright, to finish the deck with the side deck. So this deck lacks power going second, so a lot of these cards are going second power cards. So we start off with the 3 Evenly Matched. This card won me so many games, just in general. It's such a blowout. If you can bait out their negates, you can just... I was actually facing a Mystic Mind player, and I had 2 cards on board, so I just set it and passed. And during the end of my next battle phase, I banished like 4 cards. Then we have 2 Pankratops. Pankratops is still just an amazing card. You know, everybody runs it for a reason. Special summons, lots of attack, pops. Then we have the Eradicator. Eradicator is really fun with the Doom King combo because if Zombie rolls on field, he keep reviving himself, and he has 2800 attack, and he's a dark monster, so he can actually be tributed, and you can generate advantage essentially. Then we have 3 Nibiru, the Primal Being, because absolutely crazy. You can shut down so many boards. Yeah, I needed more back row clearance, so I also am running 3 Twin Twisters. And to round it off, we have 2 Artifact Lancias for the Orcust matchup. So, I tried to prepare as much as possible for what the meta is right now, and I made some really good calls. Some of these cards came in absolute clutch this weekend. Yeah, so that is my zombie deck. I hope you enjoyed. If you're going to be at Columbus this weekend, either for full play or the regionals, I hope to see you there. Hope you do well. Like, share, subscribe, whatever else we say, and I hope you have a great week. Goodbye.